Hi, welcome to my presentation today, Skills Label. It could also be referred to as Education Label. If you want to follow along with the website, you can be found at www.skillslabel.com or www.educationlabel.com. This is a patent pending standardized utility to display what exactly is learned from a resource, experience, or activity. To get an idea of what this is about, you can look at the top left diagram, which is the first screen a teacher would see on the label wizard. It shows the versatility of all the different resources that can be covered, such as the activities, a book, blended courses, classroom courses, online courses, MOOCs, online games, video games, and volunteering. To the right is an actual label itself. You can see it shows all the prereqs, reqs, time, cost, and shows the learning in skills, the desired level competencies, get skill points, a knowledge gain, and there's an actual link to the resource itself. Think about it, there's not really a standardized process and display to attribute what has been learned from an educational resource. If you take a minute and think about when you go to a grocery store to buy food, on just about all packages of food, you'll see a label that shows the nutritional value. At the top, it shows you, some of the, protein, carbohydrates, and fats and stuff like that in a breakout. And then in the middle, it shows, vitamins and all that kind of stuff gained. And at the bottom, the ingredients. After looking at a food label, you can make a pretty good decision on if you're going to buy that food based on, the nutritional elements of the food. Now, this is kind of similar to what is trying to be accomplished with an education label. You could picture a person, either a student or a parent, going to a store and actually looking at education labels and trying to make a decision based on, learning content, return of investment, personal preferences in learning, and so forth. Education labels will make this happen. There's no way of comparing learning types now. If you think about it, traditional learning types like books, classroom courses, and so forth, how do you compare them with, the new emerging types like games, online, and Internet of Things and stuff? In addition, it gets kind of hard to talk about comparing learning resources in education, higher education, and professional learning. I think skills and talking in skills is one big step forward. Skills are the foundation of learning. I call skills the verb of knowledge. They work laterally across subjects and disciplines and vertically across education and career stages. There are two types of users of skills labels. They're the teachers, those who create or publish educational resources. Then there are learners. Learners are the ones who actually consume the resources, the students and the young professionals. Skills labels are an excellent way to market your educational resource. It allows you to build awareness, explicitly state what learning outcomes you're trying to achieve, and at the end you can assign a credential such as a badge or certification to your resource. Skills labels, there's some cross-integration with skills-based approach. Skills-based approach is a methodology I came out with a few years ago. It's centered on the development of a skill set over a lifetime. This encompasses education, higher education, and later career and professional development. With skills-based approach, you try to think and plan for education and career, in the long term, 5 to 10 years in advance. With skills labels, you're allowed to manage your tasking towards those goals in short, discrete tasks. And that's the main linkage between skill label and skills-based approach. With teachers, organizations, or persons creating the education resources, K through 12 education, teachers can use skills labels to describe what's being learned in discrete activities, projects, and assignments from a class. They could also summarize what's learned over a semester in a class using a skills label. Likewise, professors in higher education can also use skills labels for their projects within the class and also as part of their syllabi. I should mention I've created another app called Skill Syllabi, and it can be found on www.skillsyllabi.com. Professional development. Companies providing online learning resources can use skills labels to describe online learning and training materials. Instructional designers, I think this could be a great first step for an instructional designer as they create their educational resource. Forces them to think and define their learning expectations in a clear, concise way. It works for gamification. Companies like SimCity or Microsoft might use labels to describe learning expectations from the game. Finally, all publishers of education materials should consider skill labels. If you create a skills label, it's a great way to market your resource. You get a free label, something you can display on your website, your app, or on printed material. It comes in a standard format that hopefully users will become familiar with as they see them and become familiar with the layout and how a skills label is comprised. You get a unique URL. You get a QR code that can be scanned into a smartphone. You have a feedback form where people can provide feedback on the page of your skill label. You get a special identifier to classify your resource. Finally, at the end, you can assign a credential, badges, certifications, awards, etc. I should say that there's a big benefit in this is a process. Some companies give you a badge at the end, a certification at the end, once you accomplish something, but they don't stick with the whole process. With the skills label, it starts in the beginning, trying to build awareness of your resource. Then it follows the learner through the process of consuming your learning resource, and then at the end provides the credentials. So it's a whole utility process that's involved. Everything's posted online and hopefully will be accessible from an online search engine. I've been building in intrinsic motivators too. For younger students, they might like to see the accumulation of skill points and where they stand on a leaderboard. Coming soon, there'll be a certified validation process, kind of like a stamp of approval. You say your skill label has these learning expectations, and they do. Learners, they're ones who actually consume the educational resources. These are students in education, K through 12, students in higher education, in associate's or bachelor's degrees, participants in certification and learning programs, and early and mid-career professionals. Learners can collect skills labels in My Collection, kind of like a history in a browser. They can find learning resources based on their own preferences. Not much of a surprise, but I'm sure a lot of students wouldn't mind playing a game over, reading a book or doing an activity outside of class instead of being inside a classroom. They also can compare prices and return on investment of the resources. They can easily scan the label content from a QR code into their smartphone. Finally, they can make informed decisions to supplement their structured learning in a classroom with education resources outside of the classroom. As I said before, there's some cross-integration with skills-based approach. Skills-based approach is an application where students and young professionals can track their learning. You can find skills-based approach online at www.skillsbasedapproach.com. Well, I hope you got something out of the presentation today. I hope you might have a little bit of excitement at the opportunity of skills label. If you're an investor, potential partner, or want to start trying this application, please email me at any time. If you're an educational institution, provider of educational resources, check out the website. Follow on Twitter. Check out on Facebook. I hope to hear from you, and thanks for listening to my presentation today.